What is going on today, guys? Stavis here, and we are back with another video. This one is the Week 1 battle that we had in the Pokepals World Tournament. Before we get into the battle, we're going to go over a little team preview. In future weeks, I've got better stuff planned. I think there's going to be a nice layout that my boy Jolt is working on, so look forward to that. And then we're going to actually have separate team building videos. I'm not going to do a whole team analysis thing, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I brought and what I thought he might bring. Right about now, his team, or the list of his Pokemon, will be popping up on probably the left-hand side of the screen, if I had to guess. My team matches up pretty well against his team, or I guess did, because we already had the battle, but matches up pretty well against the team, and really the only main things I'm worried about are possibly the Raikou. Raikou kind of, if it's a choice spec set, hits everything bar Excadrill pretty hard, and Manaphy is one of the things that I'm looking to sweep with in this game, and obviously a choice specs Raikou is something we got to work around. I am running a pretty bulky Manaphy, so if he's not choice specs, we should be able to take one pretty easily. Thunderbolt, that is. Charizard X sets up on a lot of his things. It sets up on pretty much half his team. The only thing we got to be really worried about is Mega Sableye with Foul Play. That obviously is a 2 KO minimum on Charizard, and possibly Miltank too if he is managing to get a paralysis with the Body Slam. But other than that, those put in a lot of work. Other things that I feel he might bring, I mentioned Sableye, I mentioned Raikou, Miltank, just because the extra paralysis plus the potential heal bell support. And then lastly, the only other thing that was really threatening on his team were the Scissor, which is kind of handled by Charizard anyway, so that's not too big a threat. And then also the I'm like staring at it. I completely forget its name. I'm sorry. Scissor and the Mind Show. Yes, the Mind Show. I don't know if you knew this or knows this or knew this. I don't know. It's so hard to pick the tense when you're already at battle, but basically, Choice Band and Mind Show kind of wrecks my team. So, without further ado, we're going to hop right into the match. Okay, so we were at the battle, and there's my team. Reading about Tyrantrum, well, I'm just going to go real quick. Manaphy and Zardex, I mentioned in the little preview as something that bopped his team. Weavile, he didn't really have a switch in for either. Excadrill is a bulky set, just 2 rapid spin for the Zard. And it also has Rock Slide for the Crobat, which you see here he didn't bring. And then we got Tyrantrum. Reason we had Tyrantrum is because we can set up on Miltank with it because we are the Lumberry Swords Dragon Dance set. And then lastly, we have Tangrowth to take on physically offensive / choice band Mind Show. Well, not choice band Mind Show, but choice scarf we can definitely handle. As far as his team goes, he did bring quite a few of the mons that I thought he might bring. I knew he was going to bring Mega Sableye, and Miltank was a pretty good shot. Also Vaporeon, definitely Raikou. Scissor was a maybe, and then as you'll see right here, he didn't actually bring Mind Show or Crobat. He brought Tauros instead of probably Mind Show, and he didn't bring Crobat at all, which leads me to believe that he probably has Sableye to get rid of hazards. And at this point, I thought it was pretty safe to lead off with Manaphy, just because he probably wasn't going to lead off with Raikou. He probably was going to lead off with Sableye and go ahead and Mega Evolve. Yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the battle. And as I said, I am going to lead off with Manaphy. He actually leads off Miltank. I believe what I try to do is I go up the Harry Truman of Manaphy, and he's going to make the switch out, which I go for the Tail Glow. I could have probably just gone for Scald right here and gotten a burn potentially on the Raikou, but at the same time, I know I can take one Thunderbolt, and if he's not Assault Vest, he'll die anyway. But I decided I don't want to take that much damage with my Manaphy right away, and plus I think this early in the game, he'll probably just go for like a Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt, so I can get my Excadrill in for here for free. Mr. Lyndon Baines Johnson, and I believe he goes back on the cow, and I believe we're just gonna exchange rocks. No, I should go for an earthquake on the Raikou. He goes in the cow to take it, and at this point, I'm pretty sure the Miltank is actually physically defensive based on the fact that he did switch an earthquake. I'm adamant max attack. He sets up stealth rocks, and I set up my own stealth rocks, and I believe he's going to switch out right here into Sableye. Yeah, he switches out into Sableye. Yeah, he switches out into Sableye. I believe I go for another Earthquake. And it does a shit ton, but here I was really confused on the fact that I didn't know if he kept his Prankster before he Mega Evolved or not. So I'm going to make the safe switch, or at least what I thought was safe, out into Charizard. If he'd gone for Will-O-Wisp or something, but unfortunately for me, he actually goes for a cover, and had I stayed in, I probably would have been able to kill the Sableye, and we're not at the point that we are. Now I'm going to Mega Evolve, and I'm going to go for Roost, just to get back to full health. I don't think a Foul Play will do that much without any boost, but as you're going to see here, unfortunately he gets a crit, which puts me at range where I'm forced to go for Roost. I'm going to lose Charizard either way, and unfortunately I don't get enough health back to save it, and it does 57%, and it knocks me out. So Sableye gets one kill. Charizard, who pretty much swept his team at +1, aside from Miltank, is gone. So now I do get a free switch into Manaphy. I do think that he'll probably just go into Raikou again, and I think I went for Togo. This is where I probably should have gone for Scald. I go for Togo. I decided to stay in this time because I'm at near full, so I can definitely take it with my investment. And his Thunderbolt still does a shit ton, and based on this damage I'm going to get from a +3 Scald, I know he's definitely Selfless. Lucky for me, I do actually get the burn, so Raikou probably only has about one more turn of life left. I believe I sacked Manaphy. No, I predict him to go for HP Ice, predicting either my Tangrowth or my Excadrill to come back in, and I'm just going to go for Scald again. I do live in HP Ice from the Raikou, and that is a kill for Manaphy. But unfortunately, I'm at the health range where Tauros, which I didn't expect him to bring, but looking back, Tauros outsped my entire team, unboosted team, so he's able to take me out with an Earthquake. Based on the fact that he's Life Orb, I know that he's the Life Orb Sheer Force set. I'm going to Tangrowth just in case he has the Fire Blast. I believe I don't go for Protect, and I'm actually going to go for HP Fire here, predicting him to go into Scissor, but in hindsight, it's because he was more than likely carrying Fire Blast for this, he didn't actually need to go into Scissor and risk the HP Fire switch. Here, I know since I'm bulky Excadrill, I can take a hit. This was kind of a misplay, only because number one, he gets a crit. Number two, I looked at my set and I realized that I was playing on 5 moves when I only had 4, because I had Rock Slide for the Crobat he didn't bring instead of Rapid Spin, so I didn't have Rapid Spin at all. At that point, because I didn't have Rapid Spin, I kind of figured out the best play was to let it die. I'm going to go into Weavile. I know that since he's not Choice Scarf, Tauros will go down, and he actually knows this too, and I believe he switches out to his Mega Sableye, and as I go for Icicle Crash, I would go for Knockoff first. Knockoff still does a decent amount of damage. Now I'm going to go for Icicle Crash, and I'm actually going to get a pretty sizable hit. Now this part is technically hacks, but it technically isn't. The reason is that flinch could have been hacks because obviously it's a flinch, and I'm able to knock him out with another knockoff, and he loses his Sableye. But I'm going to say that it's also even hacks because I got a minimum roll on that Icicle Crash anyway. If I had gotten even a slightly higher roll, he would not have been able to take me out. Here, I'm going to predict him to predict me to switch out and go for the U-turn instead of the Bullet Punch, so I am going to get a knockoff on the Scissor and knock off his Choice Band, which is going to pretty much severely cripple it, just because I don't think it's running very much speed, and Tangrowth should be able to outspeed it, should that situation arise. Now he goes into Miltank, and I'm thinking, hell yeah, I have a chance to win this game. I can Dragon Dance up with Tyrantrum. If he wants to go for Body Slam, I have the Lumberry, and I should be good to go. Now, I go for Dragon Dance, and at +1, Tyrantrum has a more than, pretty much a 98% chance to knock him out. Or it might even be 100. It might even be 100. But anyway, he goes for Thunder Wave, I get the Lumberry. He doesn't recover that much health, and he lives the Head Smash. And he gets off with Thunder Wave, and pretty much at this point, we're in trouble. Now, the reason that Head Smash was survived by the Miltank is because after the game I realized that I accidentally ran a Jolly Tyrantrum instead of Adamant. So even though I get this kill Dragonclaw, we were actually in a better position where he only had 3 of his Pokemon left, and I would have been a non-paralyzed +1. Would have easily knocked out the Scissor because I'm faster, and he was forced to go for his superpower there because Bullet Punch doesn't actually kill. Had I not been paralyzed, I would have outsped and killed it. And then he would have had to risk his Vaporeon to take 2 head smashes, get the burn on the Tyrantrum, and be at the health range where Tauros can knock it out. Unfortunately, he's able to go for U-turn here, do sizable amount of damage to President Eisenhower. Now he goes into Vaporeon. Look like do the power whip here, and as you're going to see, it puts him in the range where he pretty much is forced to to sack this. I just go for a poison jab because I don't want to risk it missing. He goes for Scald. Luckily for me, he doesn't get the burn, and he is actually running. He's either running a sizable speed investment, or he's running no speed at all because it is actually speed tie. Because I'm running a relaxed nature, he will be faster. Here, I did have a chance to win. I go for Protect, and luckily for me, he does. He hits this one. So pretty much the only way I can win at this point is if he misses Fire Blast and my Power Whip takes him out. But unfortunately, as you're going to see, Tauros has the target locked today, and he's going to go for the Fire Blast and knock me out. So that will be the 2-0 in Jack, Mr. Doge, and the Verdanturf Vaporeons. I don't think I said his team name, but his link will be in the description. So that is the victory for them, 2-0 in their favor. Pretty much, I felt that I played this game decently enough. The crit on the Charizard at the beginning with foul play really mattered, as well as the fact that I brought Jolly instead of Adamant Tyrantrum. The not having Rapid Spin out extra was annoying, but compared to those other 2 situations, it didn't matter quite as much. Next week we do have Nick and the Saffron City Sableyes. I've actually already got the team built. That's how far behind, and the schedule is kind of screwed. But I will definitely be bringing you guys that match as well. If you guys enjoyed this battle, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and leave a comment. You can tell me I suck. I don't really care. But yeah, I'm Step, and I'm out.